I grew up in the download era. In the late 90s, the early 2000s. If any part of you was queer, nobody knew. It was just your secret. People speculated, but they didn't know. You didn't show up wearing your queerness as a part of your identity. Like today, society, people present themselves as queer or gay or trans or bisexual first before you know anything else about them. And my mind still operates like that today. So even in like the corporate space or in my life as an adult, it's always been very uncomfortable for me to talk about. It never was a thing I thought I should bring to the boardroom or I should bring into the conference space. I never led with being a gay businessman. I've always been a businessman who happens to be gay. I've always been a person who works in corporate that happens to be gay, not a gay man who works in corporate. Does that make sense? And I'm really talking about this because I think about when I was in high school. And I've shared with you guys that one of the reasons why I dropped out of high school when I was young is because I was queer. And truth be told, which I hate to say it, I got caught in a very inconspicuous situation in which some very queer things was happening. And somebody went and told, and that person told, and before I knew it, the entire school knew about my orientation. And the rumor was so big. I remember my sister calling me and she was like, "Is this true? Because everybody's talking about this." And I made the decision that day that I wouldn't go back. There wasn't the representation that we see today. There wasn't a TikTok. There wasn't a social media. There were not people who looked like me, comfortable black men who talked about being gay or queer or bisexual or whatever the case may be. All I knew was if you're gay, you're an abomination to God and you're an embarrassment to your family and you've been defiled, you have some type of sickness. And so I was so ashamed. I was so ashamed to show up in my life. And that one decision made me decide to never be publicly queer. Like never will I show up in my life as a queer man. It wasn't until I hit 30, y'all, where I remember, in particular, 33 years old. 33 was the year that I was like, I'm going to be 33 and free. And I remember talking to my best friend and other people, and I was just like, y'all, I can't keep suppressing this. By this point, I had already been very successful. I had made all of the money. I had built the house. I had traveled the seas. I had done it. And so, me masking myself to be like super masculine and all of those things, I just grew tired of it. And I grew tired of not showing up as myself and who I actually didn't even know myself, to be honest with y'all. I was so good at putting on my corporate businessman face. So today, a man that works in corporate who does present a little bit more obvious. I won't say that I just show up as a gay man, but I have no problems with saying that I am a queer black man. And whatever you perceive from that, I'm perfectly fine and comfortable with it. I've learned to live in my truth and to stand strong for who I am. I don't believe that because I am queer that my life is going to be less fortunate. I don't believe there's going to be any misfortunes for me. In fact, all of the things that people will say, like you're going to be abomination to God. Well, I feel like God still loves me because I've been amazingly, abundantly successful, and my success, my cup spills over. So not only am I supportive and provide for me, but my community. I speak, I teach, I inform, I uplift, I change lives, I transform people. So I've been blessed. So I haven't been devoid of anything because I've been a queer man. In fact, the only thing that I was missing was me loving me and showing up for me and telling my story and being true to who I am. So this whole like download thing, I truly understand it from every perspective. I understand that it offends people because people don't want to be in relationships with people who are dishonest. And I understand that on the other side, you don't understand the pressures that you feel in society for just being who you are. You know, we live in a Christian culture and a Christian nation where a lot of people were raised with the belief that they are an abomination, just that they're a walking disappointment to the creator. They live in such fear of being called zesty or sassy or the F word or any of these different terms that we have demonized people in our community, in this community in particular. So it just becomes so scary. It becomes so scary to even put that out into the world. And I guess I'm making this video because the people have been asking me, like, why did I quit school, and how did I find my success, and how do I deal with being like a big figure in corporate America as a gay man. I love every moment of my life today. I have a team of people who I work with, my partners, my team, my staff, my business. And I get to come to work and not only be a badass boss, a leader, but I also get to be a gay black man or a queer black man or a pansexual black man or a bisexual, like whatever I choose to be. Everybody appreciates it and they love when I walk in my authentic nature. And what I've learned is you have to create the world that you want to live in. When you learn how to create the world that you deserve, when you learn how to create that, that's all that exists. All of the outside noise is just utterlings. It's just noise. It's just noise. It doesn't affect my money, my bottom line, my revenue streams. My clients love me because, most likely because I am a queer black man. Not only am I a man and I present with my masculinity, but I have the fluidity to understand my female clients. Most my clients are high level, high net worth women who want to work with me. They want to be with someone who understands both worlds. And it's made me more successful and more valuable in the market space by being who I am. So, you know, I feel bad for people who have to shield their identity. I lost so much of my life because I had to shield who I was. And I'm learning who to be and who I am every day. And I'm walking in that. And I want you to walk in yours too. So walk in your truth. All right?